Peace and blessings, family. My name is Jay, and today I want to talk to you guys today. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Jay, and today I want to talk to you guys today about the Zodiac sign, Cancer. This is a continuation of my Zodiac sign series. And yeah, well, let's get right into it. So, what is the sign Cancer? Well, Cancer is a water sign, and it's of the cardinal modality. So, we'll start with water sign first. What does water deal with? It deals with our emotions and feelings, and our ability to be compassionate, and our intuition, and our dreams and imagination. I could go on, but that's more than enough. And then it also, since it is of the cardinal modality, it also deals with um, initiating and creating, and innovating, and inventing, however you want to look at it. And so when you put these two together, you get Cancer, which is a sign which likes to initiate and create new projects or new ideas or whatever based off of the emotions and feelings. In a nutshell. And then going over going going over and to explain I'm going to explain the body parts that Cancer rules. And Cancer in particular rules the breast and the stomach and the pancreas. And um, as for the planetary ruler of Cancer, the planetary ruler of Cancer is the moon, and the moon deals with um, the moon deals with the emotions, the unconscious, the subconscious. It is the planet that deals with our emotions and feelings. So, and then it also deals with it is also a planet of nurturing and caring, just like Venus, but Venus does it more so with um, physical possessions, or just things that can. It's more related to things that can be. Um, that's more Taurus. There's two signs that are ruled by Venus. One's Taurus and Libra. Taurus shows love through physical possessions, and Libra shows it through like ideas and being relatable and compassionate, through being able to see other people's points of view from a mental and um, intellectual standpoint. Anyway, um, yeah. So knowing that Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is the planet of like the emotions and feelings and the unconscious, subconscious, you can kind of since it is the planet of sensitivity, and the moon is also represents the mother. And you can look at the moon as like the mother, and the sun is the father, but that can get into other things that don't need to be explained right now. But when you know that about Cancer, it's an element, and then the planet that's ruled by it, you can kind of see why. Cancerians have this a reputation for being very um, sensitive, or being sensitive and emotional, because that is in their that's it's in their nature to be like that. That's who they are, and this kind of explains why they're like that. So and another thing, since Cancerians like to show people love through um, uh, nurturing others emotionally, and through being compassionate and empathetic, much like Taurus and Libra, because they're ruled by Venus. And since Venus is another planet of love, when it comes to love, and there's too much love, it can turn when there's too much love for something outside of the Cancerian, it can turn into if it can turn into hate, pretty much. This is where the resentment comes from. Giving too much love, giving away too much power to uh, other things outside of ourselves, whether it's other people, other places, or whether it's people, places, or things. And then So you got to do that in moderation. And then also with Cancer, when it comes to loving themselves emotionally, got to make sure that it's not. We're got to make sure that Cancer is also Cancer's animal is also the crab. Oh, and then in the gym, damn, I didn't add that in the Gemini video. But anyway, yeah, Cancer. But anyway, Cancer's animal is the crab. And so with that, saying that Cancer, what I was gonna get to is like Cancer has to also learn not to be too emotionally nurturing of themselves at times, and to sometimes get out of that shell and experience new things. Whether it was whether there's like an intuitive hunch or um, whether it was an intuitive hunch or not, but more so as to not get too lost into their own emotions and feelings, to where our emotions and feelings are all that does matter. Kind of like, Leo in a way, but I'll get to Leo in the next video. And yeah, it's more so about. It's always when it comes to like when it comes to like love, because love is one of the greatest forms of love is like one of the greatest forms of empathy you can show. When it comes to love, whether others are deserving of it or not, regardless, it always has to be done in moderation, and so that whether it was thought up or is actually happening, it doesn't lead to hate and resentment, or whether it's with oneself, it does not lead to um, it doesn't lead to like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like to use this. I don't like to use this word. Leos get this projected onto them a lot. It's narcissism. So you don't want to be too narcissistic or be too lost in your own, world and your own emotions and feelings. At the same time, you don't want to. At the same time, you don't want to be too lost in other people's emotions and feelings through being able to understand them compassionately on like an intuitive and soul level. So yeah, and then I get to how I get to ways of being able to learn how to do that and balance that out. And I usually explain that by saying like the opposite sign. You could and if not the opposite sign, you could get Cancers around fire element, or the fire element, which deals with emotional expression, or the air element, which also deals with expression, but more so through like communicating it and intellectualizing it. But yeah, one of the easiest ways though is to like get a Cancerian around someone. Get a Cancerian around someone who's of the opposite sign, which is Capricorn, which is Earth, and Earth, which is which is an which is come on, which deals with Earth, and more so cardinal Earth, but that's more important for the Capricorn video. But Cancer, since Cancer like deals with our you could think of like our since it deals with our emotions and feelings, our internal realm, and our Earth deals with the external. Capricorn can help Cancer out, and Capricorn can help Cancer out in certain ways. But for the sake of actually trying to break it down and make it make sense, I'm gonna add the houses into this. So in astrology, there's actually houses that rule the signs, and the first house rules to break those down really quick. First house rules Aries, second house rules Taurus, third house rules Gemini, fourth house rules Cancer, fifth rules Leo, sixth rules Virgo, seventh rules Libra, eighth house rules Scorpio, ninth house Sagittarius, 10th Capricorn, 11th Aquarius, and 12th Pisces. But for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about Cancer and its opposite. Cancer is like the house of home, whether it's like our internal home, like our emotions and feelings, or like our actual home. And so it also deals with family and the domestic issues. And then there's the opposite house, which is Capricorn, which deals with like career. But Capricorn is, for the sake of this video, Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn, which deals with limitations and restrictions and boundaries. Which by default is going to bring, responsibility and maturity. And so when you put a sign that may be too loving and caring emotionally, with a sign that doesn't like to deal with emotions and feelings a lot, and is more so dealing, since it's an Earth sign and it's ruled by Saturn, deals more so with what is concrete. Capricorn can help, and it also deals with career as opposed. And 10th house, which rules Capricorn, also deals with career as opposed to home. And a quick example of that is like what happens when a person gets their own life underway and finds their own career. Eventually, they move away from the family. I mean, they still do it for the family, but eventually they take on their own path and create the life that they want. And why am I saying that here? Because when a person starts to tap into Capricorn energy and say they're a Cancerian, they learn more. They're gonna learn more emotional maturity from starting to embody Capricorn traits, because their emotions will be more restricted, not because they're weak or anything, but because they know that the emotions and feelings can't always. There's a time and place for everything, and it also applies to our emotions and feelings and our ideas. But that anyway, yeah. And then for people who are Capricorns, they can learn from Cancers how to be more in tune with their own emotions. So yeah, in a nutshell, Capricorn can help Cancer learn how to be more mature with their emotions and more restricted with them. And then Cancer can also, in turn, can help Capricorn learn how to be more in touch with their emotions. In a nutshell, opposites. Opposites always attract. Opposites are always help each other. Opposites are always able to help each other out in some way. And I just I explained that again right there. And the next one we'll talk about Leo and Aquarius. So be ready for that. Now that'll be a fun one. But anyway, yeah, that's my take on the sign Cancer. If there's anything you'd like to add or any criticism or feedback that you'd have for me, well, I'm always open to receiving that. It'd be much appreciated. If you did like this, well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you liked my take on this. And other than that, I'm gonna get up out of here. Talk to you guys later. Love y'all. Peace.